Alrighty. We are off to find Furina in Poisson. And as I understand it, I think we are heading into the climax of the Fontaine Archon quest. I'm still not sure what the over-under is on us actually fighting or coming to conflict with Arlecchino before this is over.
Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's
Good.
left here are signs of devastation. Could Furina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Yeah. There she is. What's the matter, Furina? Staring into the waters. What is the problem? What do you know? I don't know. I could see her being, well, if not the prior Archon being punished for whatever this sin was, that she is facing said punishment for some reason. Though why would she if she's not the previous Archon?
That's Furina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
I guess we'll see. Shh. Stay quiet for now, Paimon. That was still loud.
Should I just give up?
Aw.
This is all meaningless.
Damn. When the theatrics are turned off, I can't help but feel so bad for her.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead.
Oh, look at the tears, everything. She does care. But what was meant to happen? As far as she's concerned, was all this inevitable?
I'm sorry.
Fated?
I am so sorry.
God damn.
Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out.
You should really... Why can't you talk to someone? Why can't you tell people what's going on? Or at least your most trusted associate? Or do you not really trust Nuviet? I mean, I don't know that much about your working relationship.
I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Oh, Furina.
Who's that?
It's just us.
Don't worry, Furina, it's just us.
Exactly.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
She does an amazing job of putting that mask on. Honestly, I'm impressed. To go from sad and depressed to this, to the theatrics at the almost a literal turn of her heel. I mean, well done, Furina. But you're also not fooling anyone.
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
Aw.
What do you mean, tear stains?
It's literally your pupils.
I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it.
Really? Okay.
Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found.
You know, Father was right. This is all an act, a play. It's just not their play. It's hers. Or at least she is another player in it.
Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marsh Dose Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
You can stop trying to act tough, Furina. You're actually beyond devastated right now, aren't you?
Of course not.
It's okay. You know, we're not going to tell anyone. We just want to help.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Guys, please back off.
Quick, after her!
God, they're actually going after their Archon.
Furina, those people seem to be after you.
You know, considering that this place is very clearly based on France, perhaps the mob going out after their Archon is historically fitting.
They are... They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they?
Well, no. You should probably run.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
There you go.
Furina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her.
Yeah, but we can't let the mob catch up, too. Well, not much of a mob. There's just 3 of them. Honestly, we could hold them off for if you want. Surprised they didn't split up to look.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina!
You were right behind her, Paimon.
There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
They went off a different way, Paimon.
What is this place?
What, Poisson? Or do you mean the headquarters?
Here!
Oh no, this isn't the headquarters.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Paimon's exhausted.
Paimon.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me.
Don't worry, Furina. We're not gonna let them string you up or anything.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
This place is not what I'd call soundproof. You might want to lower your voice a few decibels.
You're right.
There you go.
Yep, that's a good girl.
Paimon. I know why calling her a good girl is adorable. Is that the waters?
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Another disaster just struck, I suspect.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
Yeah.
It can't be. It's happening again.
It's gonna keep happening till all of Fontaine is covered in primordial water. At least that's my understanding of the prophecy.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
I wonder... I mean, how much is this tied to the sluice gate? The glyph that Nouvelette put in place? Was that supposed to be the source that caused all of Fontaine to flood? And we blocked it off, and so now it's finding other escapes, or...
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already...
They're Oceanids now, Furina. Has Furina finally reached her limit? Now that she's talking about her actual feelings, she's starting to look far less stiff. Yeah. Is this all a part of our trap? Begin to talk amongst yourselves as Furina
It's
calms
true.
down.
I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years.
But to no avail?
I once had informants all over Teyvat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me.
You really are far more competent than you pretend.
I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing.
No success.
But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end.
Hmm.
Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time.
That's gotta be painful. Knowing that you can't do anything. Everyone looking to you all the same.
We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the
Damn.
prophecy shall be fulfilled.
By order of the heavenly principles. What did the past Archon do? But even then, you still haven't given up, right?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
Oh, God. But that would also mean that all hope would disappear.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else.
Right. Not your place. Everyone has to come to their own terms. But also, it's your duty to keep trying anyways. To struggle against the futility.
As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late.
You know, Furina, you might just make me respect you as an Archon before this is out.
Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end.
You'll keep hope alive, but can you do so if you yourself have no hope?
Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all.
I'm still curious about why. I mean, I guess you're just not really. I mean, you are the Archon, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're prone to using your powers for strength or anything, or to fight. I'm just the true fear you showed to Father still has me curious.
Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Of course, there's also still that question. Where is the Gnosis? Was it confiscated by the heavenly principles as punishment, or...
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
I think she was. We're running out of time. We can't just go back to square one like this. Have to get more information out of her. Was that mob a part of our act too, I wonder? Furina, you might not have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden.
Yeah.
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Yeah, but, screw fate. You can still choose to confide in someone, even if your burden doesn't need to be shared. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Teyvat from beyond the stars, yes?
That's right.
In other words, you never belonged here.
I didn't. In fact, I am explicitly outside of this world's fate, which might help me to give a middle finger to this prophecy. I am not accounted for by this world. I'm not part of the system. I'm still shocked that we've spread that information. I really would have thought we would have kept that closer to the chest. But, it's come up multiple times now.
And if Teyvat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
Yeah, a spectator who sometimes likes to, heckle the performance or intervene in different ways.
If that's the case...
There's no time left. Please, Furina, just spit it out. Come on. Say it. Come on, Furina. Oh my god. Impressive. Lenny. Is this father's performance now?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, no, he was
this
helping
concludes
us.
my opening performance.
His magic. Oh, Lenny. Please tell me this is a part of the plan.
Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes.
Damn it, Lenny. Couldn't you have given me just a few more moments? I'm guessing that earthquake from before was actually them picking up that house.
Do not forget, however, that I am Poisson, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
I mean, it is a bit of a dramatic irony there.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial?
Ho. Yeah, this is all part of the plan. Good. Though if it had just been a few more moments, we might have actually gotten her to confide in us.
In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Oh.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Clarend. The champion duelist.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
What's she gonna do? Hands up.
I can't believe it. She just surrendered.
Yeah, she's not a fighter, I think. I don't know.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
I don't know why. She doesn't have power.
Wow.
Or can't
how
use
utterly
it.
humiliating.
Or chooses not to, I don't know.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh. It would seem that there
Quiet in
has
the
been a
peanut gallery.
misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
I mean, it's pretty universal.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary.
I see.
I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson.
Oh, wow.
It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes.
She's being very sincere right now.
You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve.
Oh, Furina. Well, don't worry. The Oratrice de Mécanique, or Oratrice Mécanique de Cardinal, is a fair system, supposedly.
I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice.
No. Gonna get me pumped up, Furina.
This time, I will protect you.
How will you protect them?
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes.
You know, I think you might actually enjoy the theatrics of all of this. An Archon on trial? Positively scandalous.
Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin.
Are you gonna defend yourself, or are we gonna defend you? Woohoo! God, the people of Fontaine, I swear.
Oh, now we're making history.
It really is just a show to them. Oh, Nuviet.
Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes?
She did, but, well, she is a master of theatrics. And as we've learned, she isn't as dumb as she likes to pretend. She's putting on a face, acting harmless and innocent and naive, but...
Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
She is.
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is it gonna be us? Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Teyvat, my accuser and fated opponent.
Oh, I would have also accepted father, but this is good too. We were so close to getting her to tell us the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. Like I said, a few more minutes is all we needed. It's okay, though. As long as we can defeat Furina in court, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins.
Please.
Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
I think it was quite a lot. We were, a lot of it was behind the scenes and we didn't get to hear the plan. But that was only, you have to understand, that was only to guarantee its success. If you tell the plan ahead of time, it never works. Classic trope.
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula. since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Oh, hey, there you are, Navia.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rasula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates.
Okay, that makes sense.
They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame.
So they initiated, but then it turned into something real, a real mob.
Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself.
Well done.
So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
Apparently so.
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
Well done, Lenny. Pulling an Archon out of your hat was no small feat.
That's right. That house was a magic box rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Arenias. Its cargo, of course,
The Archon.
was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
Bravo. And making so she didn't realize it was happening. Like I said, no small feat.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off.
Yeah, Father's gotta show back up to get the gnosis, so I really am so curious.
We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
Maybe they'll give it to her out of gratitude for stopping the prophecy? I don't know.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
Yeah. And that's why once we got the second tremor, we're like, hurry up, hurry up.
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sorry about that.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts.
And Charlotte's here, too.
You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight.
Yep.
Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
100%.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Yeah. I mean, against most Archons, you wouldn't stand a chance.
Thank you.
But, I mean, I still don't know about Furina's combat prowess.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson.
Well, yeah, I really hoped you'd confide in me.
You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No, you guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hoped that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
He was so close. Yeah, sad about that.
It's fine. It it matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Hear, hear. Honestly, ending this with a trial might be more fitting than a boss fight. Yeah. The only thing we can do now is to judge the Hydro Archon. Still, I can't help but be a little bothered by that conversation earlier. What did Furina want to say to me right before we arrived on the stage? Yeah, I really wish we had a few more moments.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along.
Oh?
This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Oh.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte!
We didn't see her earlier. Charlotte!
Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh?
How will that expedite the trial, though?
Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine!
I see.
So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
It's a super practical gift. Yeah, that does work out pretty well. Rather than having to rely solely on memory off the top of our head.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Of course.
You've defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right?
Yes, it is. Became Linny's attorney. A murder case unfolded in the midst of Linny and Lynette's first appearance at the Grand Opera House. Though they were cleared of the accusations leveled against them, their identities as agents of the House of the Hearth were revealed.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time.
Oh, yeah?
I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence.
I suppose you could. The truth behind the serial disappearances of young women case. Turns out that the Fontainians can be dissolved by water from the primordial sea. Over the years, Vacher, kidnapped and dissolved many young girls for his experiments to try and find a way to bring back his wife, who had been dissolved. You know, if he had found a way, we could bring everyone back. But yeah, no.
This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
Yeah. We still never really resolved that, did we? Child's off who knows where. Escaped the prison into the primordial waters. It hasn't shown back up since. Though Neuvillette believed Child to be innocent, the Oratrice judged him as guilty in the end. Even Furina didn't know why. Yeah, I think the previous Archon made the Oratrice, probably. I forget. I think so. The meeting with the knave.
But the Tui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something.
Oh, yeah. I've become more and more fascinated with her. She honestly seems quite... yes, she is exceedingly powerful and was willing to kill the Archon to achieve her mission of acquiring the Gnosis. But, I mean, she seems so reasonable at times, too. By far the least antagonistic of the Harbingers we've run across. Which isn't that many, I suppose. During the diplomatic meeting with the knave, she revealed that she had already probed Furina on her own, and believes it is possible that not only is Furina not really the Archon, that she's actually afflicted with some sort of curse. I mean, she very well might not be and just be playing the role. It's possible that part of the punishment is that Fontaine doesn't have an Archon. I don't know. Part of the afflicted with a curse. I could believe that, especially if she is the previous Archon, afflicted with a curse by the heavenly principles of some sort. Fortress of Mirapede. The intrusion of the primordial sea into the Fortress of Mirapede.
The Fortress of Mirapede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think.
I mean, it was dangerous. Probably best you weren't there. The entrance to the primordial sea is sealed beneath the Forbidden Zone, the Fortress of Mirapede. And recently, the primordial sea has nearly broken out. It was only temporarily pushed back by Nuviet's power. Which honestly, his power might have done more than Furina was ever capable of. The Whale in the Dream.
According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time.
Right. You saw a child floating in the sea in a dream, as well as an indescribably massive whale. Alright, he's either Geppetto or Jonah, I don't know which. Navia falling into the seawater.
I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers.
Yeah. While exploring the ruin near Poisson, began to collapse and Navia fell into water containing primordial seawater. Only the protection of the dead members of the Spina di Rosila prevented her from dissolving. Still, needs to be said, well done. You two. You are the goats. Finally, tea time with N.
The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Yeah, just because the prophecy occurs, it doesn't tell what happens after the prophecy. And I don't know, there's probably certain details of the prophecy that are left unsaid or vague that we're just interpreting the worst case scenario, possibly.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Here we go. Thank you, Udex.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese.
No. Let him do his thing.
Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this.
Fair.
Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
Fair. That's fair. Also, yeah, hard for us to understand the actions of an Archon, and hard for even the Archons to understand the actions of the heavenly principles.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon.
What is our charge?
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
We're going there.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
I mean, I've gone back and forth on this many times. My very original guess was that Neuvillette was secretly the Archon, but that was disproven, and I backed off a bit. But then, of course, we saw the bit with Father, and it really brought those thoughts back to the surface, and I've gone back and forth ever since.
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Perhaps so. It would explain a great deal.
Charge accepted. Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
Well, Furina?
Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
I love hearing her full title. Focalor's Furina de Fontaine. Furina of Fontaine. A member of the Seven. The Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine. And, Guardian of the Seven Realms? Nah.
Yeah. Even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Well, maybe. I could see this trial going either way, honestly. Truly. Both the results would be interesting in their own ways.
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
Well, I'm glad to actually see they're not just taking me at my word for such a seemingly preposterous accusation.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born.
Yeah.
There would be no fooling their memory.
If you aren't the Hydro Archon, you've been playing the role for 500 years or however long it's been. I forget. I think we've heard the time quite a few times now, but...
See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
I think I'm gonna have to say no.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
I mean, ideally, the people shouldn't matter. The Oratrice is supposed to fairly judge the truth of the matter. People only see you as their Archon because that's their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
I don't know. I could see you being a somehow humanized Oceanid. Well, we've actually met Oceanids that were humanized before, though they usually looked different.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
'Tis a good question, but Archons aren't the only beings in this world that are long-lived. We've got to think carefully. What do we know to be special about Furina exactly? I hope you've already thought out your trial strategy, Alice. Why can Furina live for so long despite being human? No, not child's conviction. Oh, irrelevant. Tea time with N. No. I mean, the one that's most directly relevant is the meeting with the knave.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race.
Exactly.
Which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
It doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the veracity of the claim.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse.
Oh?
But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Oh, Nubiet had a puzzle piece to the, a clue to the puzzle, all along.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
So, Furina, if that is your real name, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Furina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Basically, all of them have looked human. Except, Nahida, but that's because she very much was a branch. Nahida's a tree.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being?
How indeed.
Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
Well, I was gonna say the main difference between a human and a god is power. Worship is not necessarily relevant, though is typical.
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, did you make it after all? Oh no, it's just a manifestation of your authority. Oratrice de Mécanique... Wait. Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale. Yeah. Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Furina actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. The truth of the disappearances. Or child's conviction. But no, the truth behind the disappearances, because this was what Linny was accused of, right?
That doesn't sound right.
No?
Paimon doesn't think this clue can be used as compelling evidence to build our case.
All right, Paimon, what would you pick? Yeah. Fine, it is child's conviction. Though this is the one where, you know, it went against what she was claiming.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Yeah.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
I mean, I strongly disagree with that, but...
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
Ooh, good way of forcing her to be forthcoming.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
You see, Nuviet is so much the embodiment of justice.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice.
Yeah, I don't think anyone living does.
Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me.
Yeah, who is the real Hydro Archon?
It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created.
Right.
You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
That's fair. You're not omnipotent. None of the Archons are. And without omnipotence, flaw is possible.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure. We can put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Furina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon? There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
Oh, what a convenient excuse, Furina.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
A brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capacities of a human with a vision. Furina, I know you can at least summon little water guys.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Well, of course, you could get that power later.
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
That is a good dodge, actually.
Isn't that a huge stretch?
I mean, it's possibly enough to create it's enough to create a reasonable doubt, I think, barring other evidence.
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
I mean, that is a question.
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved.
Aw.
Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please, you've got to believe me.
Oh, I feel so bad for her.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
What are you clapping for back there? Oh, that's funny.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Possibly.
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is?
Ooh.
If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Can we produce another Archon? I mean, if you're not, the next best guess is that there is the seat remains unfilled.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
Of course not. If we can't prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she is just a human. And if she's only human, I mean, if she's only human, would she be vulnerable to the primordial seawater? Yeah, it turns out Fontanians can be dissolved.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Ooh.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Niviet is a stickler for the rules, Navia, remember.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends.
Yeah. RIP.
So, Miss Furina, would you dare, if we are to believe that you
Whoops.
are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case.
True. Let me let you play that previous line, though.
Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater?
I think not.
But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse.
Of course, is she actually vulnerable to it? I don't know.
Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
I mean, not because of that reason, but...
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Probably not. Of course, she could be confident. Oh, you set up in set it up in a basin? Furina?
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Yeah. Please, if you deep down know there's a chance of you dissolving, please don't touch it. A bit of uncertainty on her face.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
Hey, it's not quite true.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Oh, I don't think any of us have truly understood the inner workings of Furina's mind. Would she like to end it all? Of course, the prophecy had her alive and alone after the primordial waters came.
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Hey!
She actually... Huh. Interesting.
I'm fine! Look! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved!
What's interesting, though, is she was not sure that would work. So she's definitely not a regular Fontanian human. Could be the result of said curse, if that is indeed what's the matter with her.
Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
I think she was trusting in the prophecy that she wouldn't be dissolved.
Miss Siegewin? If you are present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
What are you doing here, Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see.
We brought Siegewin all the way out here for this.
That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans
Really?
when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Really? Don't Fontanian... Have we had any Fontanians who weren't dissolved by any concentration basically immediately? That's the adverse reaction for those who aren't Fontanian.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson.
Yeah.
However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur.
So she is vulnerable. So either the prophecy's not about her or we misinterpreted it.
We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness.
How confident were we that the low concentration sample was low enough concentration that it would have some effect, but no, not dissolve her?
It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
Oh, no.
I can't believe you...
I'm surprised you went through with it then. But what's really going on here? Furina can't have known the consequences of touching that water as a human. Yeah. It's too unlike how she usually acts. Unless it's actually more important for her to keep up her facade than to save her own life? It seems maybe it is. Like, the frickin' heavenly principles. Maybe as part of this punishment, the heavenly principles forbade the speaking of whatever these secrets are. But hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater?
That is fair.
Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Not buying it.
Please,
Aw.
anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
Oh, Furina. We're not making a mistake, are we? I feel so bad for her.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
What do you say, Furina? Aw, I do feel so bad for her.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
Oh.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty.
Shatter. God damn.
We shall now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Is it gonna say innocent?
According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Furina is...
Yep.
Well, what's wrong? What's the oratrice's verdict?
It can't be. It could. Did the oratrice just declare Furina to be innocent?
No. The oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Really? Well, then what's your shock?
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty.
Huh. That's fascinating. She is the Hydro Archon. But she's also misrepresenting.
To be punished via the death sentence.
Oh my. What? I think that's what caught his attention more than the wording of the Hydro Archon.
The death sentence?
Has it ever given out that sentence before?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
Oh my god.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Yeah.
What an unexpected twist.
This is a person's life, you know. It's not just a show.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
I think we've been messing with things we didn't fully understand. Namely, the heavenly principles.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
No kidding.
Yeah, even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice.
Yeah.
You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
What's more strange is, yes, thank you for picking up on that too. Instead of Furina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place.
But it also declared her guilty.
But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
I don't...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Fremine? What do you have to add?
Is the trial still going?
Kinda, but also no.
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
To rig the Oratrice?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
What was the mission, Fremine? Brings a stone slate onto the stage.
The first prophecy slate?
Yes! What does it say?
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
Well done, knave.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water.
I'd like to see them all next to each other, if we could.
But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Aw. Don't worry. The mystery hasn't been resolved yet. It's not too late for you to shine.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's the Hydro Archon, the hooded figure, the previous one.
Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Yes.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the Oceanids into human beings. Huh.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
She turned the Oceanids into humans.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
The previous Hydro Archon, remember Paimon? She was guilty of a grave sin that would cause punishment to all of Fontaine.
So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've talking about?
Yes.
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
An association between the contents of the slates and the events in real life. I mean, if the Hydro Archon did give up her power, I mean, Furina could be.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates.
I would love
Paimon
to.
will do her best to help you remember.
Thank you. Could you draw them in your mind for me? Thank you. Select to check the descriptions on the stone slates to extract key information from them. You can find scenarios related to the stone slate's contents and the incidents recorded in the interview notebook. There you can verify said content. As the verification process continues, the fountain water level in the menu interface will rise. When you have finished verifying all the stone slates, the truth behind the prophecy shall be revealed. Let's do this.
The slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
Would that explain why they're able to turn, the primordial waters are able to turn specifically Fontanians into Oceanids? Just reversing the process.
Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well.
Yep. Which is what the primordial water does.
The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
Heavenly principles is a real bastard sometimes.
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing?
I mean, I would think so.
The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else?
Who?
Well, the first slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on.
Yeah.
We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Okay. Slate 1. Stone slates in the ruin showing the prophecy describes a history of the future. Right. The first piece that was originally missing has been found by Formulating. Seems to show the former Hydro Archon using divine power to verify Oceanids, to turn Oceanids into people. I mean, Navia proves that it can be reversed.
That doesn't sound quite...
Alright, fine. Probably Vache then.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Yeah. The prophecy, the stone slate, shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. The heavens still brought judgment down upon them. Oratrice judged him as guilty. I mean, either this one or child.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
All this has happened before, and it shall all happen again, kind of deal. A sentence never before passed in the Court of Judgment has been handed down to the Hydro Archon. Just what kind of sin merits such a verdict? Truly. Shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by many people. I mean, the entrance to the Primordial Sea, probably. No. In that case, I guess Navia.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
Judged by the people? Huh. Shows a scene that is basically identical to that. Wait. Yeah. Basically identical to that described in the prophecy circulating throughout Fontaine. Fontainians will eventually be dissolved into the sea, and the Hydro Archon will sit alone on her throne and weep. I mean, Tea Time with N seems the best choice, Nuviet being my second.
That doesn't sound...
Alright, it is Nuviet.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may... If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Yeah.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist.
Nope.
Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid.
Right. Or an oceanid or oceanids, plural.
The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin.
I'm actually leaning towards Furina being the original Archon. This is all part of her punishment.
The water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay.
Right.
The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's content can all be verified by recent events.
Yeah.
If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Verification complete.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it!
Slowly but surely, this mystery is being revealed, Paimon.
But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Yeah.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontainians are not real humans.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
I mean, what is real? I mean, you are... I think the Heavenly Principles didn't like the Archon created. What is your problem, Heavenly Principles?
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater.
Right.
And how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids.
Right.
Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Eventually.
Indeed.
The second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontanians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission.
Yeah. Humans are the domain of Celestia.
That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
I mean, yeah, I don't think the Oratrice understood what she was actually on trial for, though.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
Heavenly Principles want her dead for it.
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Maybe. The fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as it's already widely known. Wait, is this one then does she cast herself into the sea to be judged by all the Fontanians? Fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecies. It's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You did very well, Paimon.
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth.
Or so we believe.
However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source.
Do tell.
When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion.
Well, how about now?
Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Yes, please. I'm so curious.
Well, did you get it?
Give him a moment, Paimon. Patience, patience.
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well.
Oh.
I will try to briefly summarize it for you.
Don't summarize. Give me everything.
Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct.
But
in the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Were the Oceanids her original subjects then? Were there no humans in Fontaine for the Hydro Archon?
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings.
Or maybe not.
Wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea.
But when the people of Fontaine then reproduced, they still maintained that Oceanid base.
She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids.
Right.
Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea.
See. Creating humans without permission by appropriating the power of the primordial sea. What is it the Heavenly Principles has against this in the first place, I wonder?
That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
I mean, there were other people, though, weren't there? The ones they were envious of? Or were those just the people of the other lands?
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
I suspect the ones who were Oceanids before being turned into human beings are all long since dead. You all have always been humans that are just capable of turning into Oceanids.
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
La la la, I can't hear you.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
Yeah.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
The remaining question, there's multiple. Major question is, Furina, is this your sin, or is this your predecessor's sin?
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So what is the third slate supposed to represent, then?
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea.
Okay.
The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is...
The Archon will be held to trial.
That the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Played right into fate's hands. Tale as old as time. What's that? That saying? The path you take to avoid your fate, or you often meet your fate on the path you take to avoid it. Can't be.
Yes. It refers to our present situation.
Yep.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
in doing so, we in fact fulfilled the prophecy.
In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
Yep.
So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
Apparently so.
What should we do?
I don't know, Paimon. Feels like there's no way out of this.
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
Indeed.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Probably. But do we have the correct interpretation?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes?
Pretty much.
However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come.
Oh boy. And what would that be?
As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
I have? Wait. Could it be... Is it the whale? Just what is the true source of the catastrophe?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
What could it be? Intrusion of the primordial sea. Prophesized disaster will likely spread from here. There's the whole thing with child.
That doesn't sound...
No. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, the whale in the dream.
It was both dream and reality.
Yeah.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
What is that thing, though?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Oh boy, it's here. Oh no, it's here. That is... Oh, is it like a whale oceanid? Oh, not even Nivea can hold it back. Oh, and it wants to devour them. Ooh. Child, there you are. Have you been fighting that this whole time? Well done. It's pissed. Oh, it's retreating. And he falls back in. Do we go after him?